Hey Glamfam, welcome to today's video. We're testing out the brand new Makeup Forever HD Skin Smooth and Blur Undetectable Under Eye Concealer. I am so excited to test this out for you guys. I just got it in the mail this morning, so we're doing more of a first impression so I can get this video out, and then I'll come back on day 5 at the end of the video and do more of an outdoor wear test, and we'll see if my glam score changes at all, and I thought that would be kind of fun. I also have the new Artist Contour and Blush, so we'll talk about all of that as well. So let's glow, girls. All right, Glam Fam, let's jump right into it because we have a few things to cover today. So the order I'm gonna go in is I'm gonna talk about the concealer, give you all the details really quick. We'll go over the swatches, I'll do the application, and then I'll jump into the Artist Blush and the Artist Contour powders and see how it compares to the previous versions because I absolutely love that. You guys know that if you're a Glam Fam sister, I'm a huge fan of the refillable Artist powders, and you guys know that blush is like my holy grail. So I'm gonna compare it to the new version and see if we like it any better. But let's jump into this new Makeup Forever HD concealer. I am so excited, you guys. I have been anticipating this to arrive, and I did go into my local Sephora just to make sure I got the right shade and try to get as many swatches as I could for you guys. So technically I'm not supposed to be filming in Sephora, so I tried to do this really quick, and I also tried to just get as many swatches as possible. So we will go over all of the shades in just a second. It is a very interesting shade range, I'm not gonna lie. Let's hope this performs amazing because the shade range, oh my goodness, it was a little tough. Anyway, I did go with the right shade for my taste, so I'm very happy with that. And this does retail for $29 USD. You get 0.17 ounces and 5 mils of product. This is a little pricey. You're looking at about $5.89 per mil. This is made in Korea and it has a 6-month shelf life. Now that's not very long, especially for that price point per mil. So not happy about that, but again, we will judge it once we apply it and see if we really like it. It does come with a standard doe foot applicator, and it is a really nice one. I like the packaging, and it's available in 20 shades. Now that's not a very big shade range for a big brand like Makeup Forever, so I will admit that. The shade I went with is 1.3 Neutral Nougat, and that's for fair to light skin tones with a neutral undertone. So I wasn't quite sure when I looked at the component in store. I was like, oh, that might be too light, but I had already ordered it online. I was just waiting for it to arrive. And then once I swatched it and walked around the store, this oxidizes like crazy, and this was the perfect shade for me and my taste, so keep that in mind. I like to do 2 or 3 shades lighter for my concealer for more brightening effect. The wet swatches look light upon application, but you will see as they dry down in that picture, they definitely oxidized. There's not a whole lot in the dark end. There are more on the light, medium, light range. I will say that about this shade range. But there's huge jumps. I mean, huge from the medium to the dark, or even the light medium to the medium range was a huge gap. So I think Makeup Forever could have done better on that. I personally loved that this 1.3N did have more of a yellow undertone. In my opinion, it just kind of, even though it says neutral, it was the closest to more of a yellow neutral, and I personally like that. So I think I found my perfect shade, but we'll have to see. Let's take a look at those swatches again, and I'll show you guys what numbers those are. So we have 1.3N, 1.4Y, 1.5R, 2.0R, 2.1Y, 2.2N, 2.4Y, 2.5N, 4.2N, 1.1N, and 1.0Y. Sorry, the last two I added on at the last minute. That's why the lighter ones are at the end. But the only reason why I did 4.2N is just in case any of you wanted to, in your My Skin tone, you're like, I want to use one for bronzing and contour because this is a multi-purpose concealer. And for some reason, the 1.4Y, which is what I thought I would be, I wasn't sure. I changed it at the last minute. That looked more pink undertone than yellow undertone. So that was interesting. But this delivers a medium coverage with a natural finish. It's a feather light buildable concealer that visibly smooths, brightens, and corrects under eyes with an undetectable real skin finish for up to 24 hours of wear. Skincare inspired formula is infused with their smooth skin complex, powered by hyaluronic acid, jojoba oil, and snow mushroom to plump the look of fine lines, blur texture, and hydrate the under eye area. The gel-like texture is easily blendable and buildable with no caking or creasing. Let's take a look at that full ingredient list. We have water as the first ingredient, and then you will see like the dimethicones and the typical concealer, boron nitrate, a lot of the same stuff that they typically use in their foundation. No coconut oil. Very excited about that. I know many of the Glamfam sisters are also allergic to that. So very happy that this did not contain it. And I do have the Makeup Forever HD Skin 1N14. So I'll show you guys kind of how I applied that before filming this portion of this video. But I also used my Dermatology under eye patches. You guys know I keep bringing this up, and I think I bring it up in the next video you'll see after this. Again, because this is how I get my concealers to look the most flawless and really last all day. It's so incredibly hydrating. And you can use my code Kristi20. I like the Dermatology ones. Those are my favorite, and they last a long, long time. And you always get 20% off using my code, so that's nice. All right, let's go in, and we're just gonna start small, and then we'll build it as we go and see if we need more. So we're just gonna start really small because I just wanna see for those that like a little bit of coverage. Now, grant you, it looks light, but just know it's gonna oxidize. I'm gonna do a little bit right here. By putting concealer there, it gives you that automatic eye lift. So that's all we're gonna do. We're gonna do a brush on that side and the sponge on, my Dose of Color sponge on the other side. I'm gonna use my Milk brush just because, actually, let's do this one because that's not available. This is the Anissa concealer brush. I really like this one as well. All right, so it's still quite wet, so that's nice. So you have a little wiggle room. It's not drying down right away. Typically, this is the method I do, but I'll show you guys with the sponge too. I'm just gonna lift that and then kind of blend that in a little bit. This is nice because this brush is quite small, but it has the density to leave that coverage in there. And then I'll go around the edges, and yeah, that's really beautiful. Wow, that looks so good. That blended out with ease. Wow, especially with my skin so dry right now. That is so nice. Oh wow, oh wow, oh wow. Okay, let's get this guy in. That is very skin-like. That is so pretty. This is that perfect concealer. We'll see if it builds up, but that perfect concealer to go from really light coverage for a natural day to full coverage, hopefully. We'll see how that works though. All right, I'm gonna pull you guys in close so we can take a look at it, and then we'll look at it in natural daylight too. It looks really, really beautiful with all of my studio lights. It's really pretty. Now let's take a look at it in natural daylight outside of my studio in bad lighting, but just natural daylight coming through the window. You can start to see my dark spots peeking through, like the purple. So I do think if you have dark under eye circles, that one layer is not gonna be enough for you, and you're definitely gonna wanna use a color corrector underneath. But I want you guys to see what it looks like without a color corrector, just so you can see the coverage that you get. I am gonna put a little bit of my Surratt color corrector just because it's a perfect texture to kind of, where it's very, very thin and buildable, and this is just by far my favorite color corrector ever made. So this is the Perfectionist in shade 2. This is the number 2 palette, and that I've been talking about it a lot lately. And we're gonna use that peachy one right there, like a little bit darker one, just to try to counteract that dark area. And this one I just really like to use on my hand just because I wanna warm it up. And I find that that's the best way to do it. And you can use this with a brush too. It will pack it on more natural with your finger, but you can always go in and do this as well and press that in, and you are gonna get more coverage doing it that way, just so you guys know. So it just depends. I don't have a lot, so I like it a little bit more skin-like there, because we're gonna go in with another layer of the concealer. So let's try one more layer. Just a little. I like that you have wiggle room and it doesn't dry down too quick. Now I'm gonna take my sponge. That looks so good. Yeah, that built up really nice. It doesn't look cakey or too much. It still looks skin-like, but it covered a little bit more. So that second layer was perfect. Now, if you like super full coverage, this is probably not gonna be your concealer. I'm gonna be honest with you guys. But if you like this buildable medium, on the lower end of full, once you build it up, or even light coverage, you're going to love this concealer. I do think this is a very good concealer for mature skin, just because we have to be super careful with our concealers, or it's not too drying. Sometimes the really big full coverage ones, like I love the Makeup Forever matte velvet concealer is really good. I do have a review on that from a long time ago. I think that one's really good for full coverage, but it is more drying, and I reviewed that a couple years ago. So I'm just taking my finger to make sure that everything's pressed in. I'm gonna take the brush, nothing on it, just pressing whatever's left over on the brush back in just to blend before we do powder. Yeah, that looks good. And then once I do like my powders and everything will blend. I want it brighter looking, so keep that in mind. That's a perfect shade for me. So if you're my skin tone, 1.3N is the perfect shade. I love that. That looks so good. Let's take a look at it up close. Now let's take a look at it by my window in natural daylight outside of my studio, just so you guys can see. This is the second layer. Keep that in mind. That's the most I'm gonna build that up because I don't want it to crease. So I would keep it there. I would not go 3 layers. Plus it's an expensive concealer that you don't wanna have to do that. So we have to see how it's going to wear at what it's meant to be. All right, I am gonna set this down. Actually, let's set it down. I was gonna use my one size powder. I'm gonna set it down with my Makeup Forever HD Skin Matte Velvet Powder. So this is the new one right here. This is 1Y08. I have a full review on this powder. It's my ultimate favorite foundation powder ever made. It's the best foundation powder on the market, without a doubt. So check out my full review. But this is 1Y08. I'm gonna set the rest of my face with this shade, which is my perfect shade. And then I'm going to set the under eye with the 1N00. It's a bit light. I'd like to do the 1R02 eventually, so I will pick that up eventually, but right now I have to watch what I'm spending. So we are gonna use the 1N. It's gonna be a little bit light, but once I do the contour and all that, just please keep that in mind. So I'm gonna take it on to my Makeup Forever. You guys know this puff, I just picked up a new one. They're only $10, they last forever. I wash them every time I do my darks, which is every week, and they just wash so beautifully. There's no puff on the market that is better than this. I will tell that over and over and over again. I know some of you have bought it too. All right, so that looks good. We're gonna leave that there and then just wait till I blend in. It looks light right now. So that was, again, 1N00 with the Matte Velvet new HD Skin Powder. Now we're gonna take 1Y08 and set down the rest of my face. This is the 100mm puff. This is, I don't apply my powder foundations, any of them, without this puff, or even my Charlotte Tilbury setting powder. Just this is, again, I don't know what they do to their puffs. I think because they're designed by pro makeup artists. They know what it takes to get flawless makeup, and that's why their stuff is so, so, so good. Undeniably. I mean, once you did the powder, I mean, that was perfect. I didn't need more concealer. Now I got a full coverage concealer and this lasts all day. And if you're like, Kristi, I can't because I have dry skin, I have super dry skin, and these powders do not affect me. They're spectacular. I'm just taking this brush just to kind of make sure that we dust off any excess powder, but look at that. Wow. That looks so good. All right, let's take a look at it up close. Now let's take a look at it in natural daylight outside of my studio once again for the final time, just so you guys can see what it looks like set down with powder. Really beautiful, just an amazing formulation. All right, since I took off my lip oil, I'm gonna reapply this. I had this on this morning. It's incredible. This is the Makeup Forever Ultra HD Lip Booster. I love this stuff. It comes in clear and then also has like a pinky tone one. I picked more up during the sale. So good. I love this stuff. It's so, so good. All right, let's jump into this brand new blush and sculpt. So I do use both of these products in the previous version. I've used it on several videos. You guys know that this previous blush right here is my holy grail. Didn't know they were coming out with those, so I just purchased a brand new one because they were on sale for $13, and I did let you guys know that in the community tab. So make sure you have your notification bell on so you don't miss my sale alerts and stuff like that. And this Makeup Forever Artist, this is B308, and this is a coral, my favorite holy grail #1 blush ever made. I want to see if this one's any better. I haven't tested it out yet, but I can tell you right now this would be the closest like coral color where it's still a matte finish. And this is shade B300 Anywhere Peach. I'll show you guys what they look like side by side before we jump into the details of this new one and the ingredients, because things have changed. This one is definitely lighter, as you can tell, and it has more of, I would say more of a natural matte finish, where these were very, very matte, the matte ones, which I love. They're so beautiful, but still plays well on mature skin. All right, so this is the brand new Makeup Forever Artist Longwear Skin Fusing Powder Blush. They retail for $32. This is quite pricey when you look at the size. So you're getting 0.14 ounces and 4 grams of product. We're looking at $8 per gram. Don't go by the website on Sephora, it's off. It says 5 grams on there, it's actually 4 grams, you can tell on the box. So these new components have a 12-month shelf life. They're made in Italy, just like the last version. The recyclable component does not contain a magnet, so keep that in mind. You want to be ultra careful, I'll show you guys right there, to make sure you secure that lid with the clickable flap right there, because if you don't, it can fall out and break, because there's no magnet on the bottom of that, of the actual component, I should say. There's a magnet on the actual blush that you can pop into your own Z palette, magnetic palette that you have at home, which I typically do anyway. But I like that this one comes with an actual component, and it does cost a little bit more. $25 was the last one, but you didn't get anything. You just comes in a plastic case that you put in your own Z palette. I don't know, I actually kind of prefer that, but it is nice if you are a traveling makeup artist and you want to keep them separate. They said that they wanted to take out any additional weight, which is why they made the actual component not magnetic or without a mirror. I don't care, I don't use the mirror, so I would prefer companies to leave out the mirror anyway. I personally just don't mind that. But just keep in mind, Makeup Forever on their site, and I do have an affiliate link with them just so you guys know, always have good deals. You can get 20-30% off. So I recommend signing up with makeupforever.com, plus you get a discount on your first purchase, which is nice. So this new Artist Blush is actually available in 14 shades. You have 8 mattes and 6 shimmers. When I originally filmed the video, I'm adding this footage in, it was only available in 8 shades on the Sephora website, and still currently is. So I think it's only gonna have the 14 shades on the Makeup Forever website. So I put it all into one sheet for you guys, and you can see on the first row we have Rubble Blossom, which is a shimmer, Bold Punch, and that's a shimmer, Joyful Pink, that's a shimmer, Whenever Rose, that's a matte, Cheeky Cherry, a shimmer, Daring Candy, a matte, Limitless Berry, a matte, and the shade I got, Anywhere Peach, which is a matte, and then Playful Coral is the shade I was hoping for, and that is actually available, and that's shade 310, and that's a matte. I will be picking that up eventually. Charming Poppy is the next one, and that's a matte, and that's also a very beautiful like terracotta color. That might be one I'm a little bit intrigued with, as well as the next shade, which is Positive Papaya, and that's a matte too, B330. And then Spirited Sienna, I do have a in-store swatch of that, I'll show you in just a second, and that's a shimmer. Flashing Fired, and that's a really red matte. It's gonna look gorgeous on darker skin tones. And then Hot Lava, which is the last shimmer. So I thought that would be helpful. If I say anything further when I'm actually applying it, like I wish there was a darker color, that is why. But this is a beautiful shade range. And again, I went with Anywhere Peach, which is a matte light peach, a really gorgeous peachy tone. I want to pick up another color if I like the formulation. It is really beautiful. I'm not into shimmers, but if I were into shimmer and you like a little bit of radiance, because I wouldn't consider this shimmer, because you'll look at the swatches that I took in store for you guys, and Bold Punch, I had a difficult time deciding between Bold Punch, which is a coral pink, and a golden shimmer. You can slightly see the shimmer in the sunlight. When I was looking at in different lighting in the store, you can slightly see it. You wouldn't be able to see it on camera anyway. This is the kind of radiance I can get on board with because it's very micro thin. It is a soft formula. It is unbelievably good. So yes, it's quite pricey, but this formula, just swatching it and feeling it, is so creamy to touch. It's unbelievably gorgeous. And then Anywhere Peach is the next shade. And again, that's very light on my hand, but we'll see where it's going to be once I put it on. And then we have Whenever Rose, which is the other shade I might pick up later on when there's a sale, and that's a matte dusty rose. And then I also swatched Sprinted Sienna, which is a pale orange with gold shimmer. Again, I cannot see those shimmers. So if you're like, oh, I like radiance, but I don't like shimmer, these are the perfect formula for it. This is a skin fusing pressed powder blush with buildable pigments that melt into your skin for the ultimate versatility and payoff to achieve a soft, flush, or a bold look. The new version is now formulated without talc, so that is the big difference right there. Let's take a look at the full ingredient list. You do have mica as the first ingredient, and then you have synthetic fluoride, which is synthetic mica, just so you guys know. I just want you to be aware of it. You have dimethicone, silica, and then no coconut oil, which is nice, but they do have shea butter in there. You can take a look at the rest of the ingredients right there, but not too long, which I appreciate. Let's jump into the contour powders because they're a very similar formula, but slightly different ingredients on that. And this is their new Artist Powder, which is a Longwear skin fusing powder contour. It retails again for $32. Same thing, 0.14 ounces, 4 grams, $8 per gram. We already went over that. It's available in 6 matte Artist Powder contour shades. I went with S410 Thrilled Chestnut, which is a matte, light, warm brown. For me, that was the perfect undertone that I like. I personally, for everyday life and not on photography, love just getting more of a neutral undertone. Everyone is different. You have to test it and really see what you feel looks good on you, and always take a picture because that's going to tell you everything, especially outside. So let's take a look at some of the swatches that I took in store. So the first shade is the S400 Precious Latte. That was a beautiful undertone. That's considered a neutral beige undertone. When looking at it side by side to the S410, which is considered a light, medium, neutral warm, I would say they both have the similar undertone of neutral, just that perfect neutral. So if you're any lighter than me, S400 is going to be a perfect shade for you. Next to that, I kind of jumped in shades when I swatched it. Sorry, you guys, again, I was trying to go really fast. That one is S430, which is Marvelous Peanut, and that's described as a matte cool brown for light to medium skin tones. That one is extremely cool toned. And then I think this next shade, but I'm not positive, is S420 Trendy Truffle. I'm not positive, but I'm pretty sure that is because of the way it's described. That's a matte reddish brown, and that is for like medium tan skin tones. That's more of like a bronzer shade, I would say. And then the last one is S440, and that's a powerful mocha, matte rich brown for medium to tan skin tones. All right, let's jump into applying the blush and the contour. We're gonna start off with the contour first, and I'll show you guys what this looks like compared to my previous version that I used that color. So I can't remember, I'll put the name of it. I think it was S116, which is a nice formula and one of my favorite contour powders, but it wasn't blowing my mind like the new Surratt one, or not new, but the Surratt ones. This is the Surratt Artiste, and I will be doing that in my latte makeup look, which I was gonna release today, but I'm gonna end up releasing it the following week because I wanna get these out. I wanted to get this review out. This is my #1 contour powder now. It is unbelievable, the Grisella. So we're gonna see how this one compares to that one. This one definitely has more warmth when you look at it next to Grisella, which is actually probably one of the perfect contour shades. So that's something I would have liked to see, but I don't know, it just depends. Sometimes I want more of a warmer contour, so we'll see which one we like better. All right, let's go into this shade. Oh my gosh, it's so creamy. It is a really creamy formula. Very, very excited. All right, let's take it on to my typical sculpting brush, and this is my BK Beauty 112. I'm gonna start right here. Ooh, that has a lot of pigment. That was way more pigment than I imagined. I'm just gonna take that around the hairline. Ooh, that's really pretty. That is a super smooth formula. Oh, I love that. Oh yeah, whoa. That's good. Wow, that's really nice. I'm gonna take a fluffier brush now just to see. And this Sonia G one, you guys know the Niji Pro. I know she just released new brushes too. It's another way to go in there, and it's just a nice fluffy edge like that to go in there and just kind of give a bigger contour. Like it's gonna take up more of the face, but kind of perfect, right? So pretty. I really love the way that Sonia G one just works for those quick days, but this really is a perfect shade to bronze and contour with. It is really beautiful. I just wouldn't personally use it as a nose contour. All right, let's go into the blush. This is the Artist Blush in shade Anywhere Peach once again, and we're gonna use my Dalium Tools BDHD 968. It definitely picks up color, even though it looked, you don't even have to dust it off. It's not that powdery. It's just so buttery soft. Oh, she's pretty. She's very subtle on that first application, but my gosh, that blends in like to perfection. What a gorgeous formula. Now, if you want more punch, I would probably go with the Bold Punch. You like coral tones, but you want more punch. This one is definitely very, very, very subtle. All right, let me kind of blend this a little. Let me get my Sonia G mini buffer. I just like to go over and blend, and you can always add bronzer on top if you want like a little bit more punch. Let me just show you the difference. Let's go into this one, and I'm just gonna put it like right here on the back end. This is my B308, just so you guys can see the difference. I already have it on my Rose & Ben C41, so we'll just do that. See, as you can tell, definitely packs more punch. I wish they would have translated the same color because I think I like this formula better, but I love that shade more for me, my taste. Yeah, see how it just packs a little bit more punch? I mean, it's still an amazing formula, don't get me wrong. This is, like I said, it's my #1 blush just because of the color tone when I'm including everything in there. We're gonna take the same color we were using, and we're gonna use my Chikuhodo. And for some reason, I've been really liking to do this lately, and then I just go over it all and blend it together. And I think it just makes it look more cohesive and pretty. I'm gonna go down my neck with this because I want it to match with my self-tan. And that's how you can make a color that's a little light if you have a self-tanner work, or if you don't want to buy a new one. All right, you guys, I'm gonna do the rest of my makeup, and then I will see you guys in a little bit. All right, Glamfam, I'm gonna take you outside so you can see what it looks like in natural daylight. This whole makeup look came together so pretty. I actually ended up using the bronzer contour shade as eyeshadow as well, and I'll show you guys kind of how I applied it. And you can just leave it there and just pop on mascara or lashes or whatever and do a really beautiful natural look like that. I built it up to something more smoky, latte makeup inspired. I did like more of a warm latte inspired makeup look. The one you're gonna see is more neutral, but I really stuck to the same colors that I used in that one. It is so incredibly beautiful. Now let's just quickly go into these ratings. So as far as the concealer goes, I struggled with this one because I personally like a little bit more coverage. I don't want to have to keep building up a product like my Hourglass one. I get that perfect amount of coverage. With this one compared to the Huda Luminous, which is another favorite of mine, I would say the Huda one has a bit more coverage, and you still get that moisture that you get and that blendability you get. So this one is probably a little bit below the Huda one as far as coverage goes, but you can't deny how beautiful this applies. So let's touch on application. 5 out of 5. This applied beautifully without any effort. It just seamlessly blended into the skin, whether I used a beauty sponge or a brush. It is unbelievably gorgeous. As far as the finish goes, and I'm talking about, does it blur my imperfections? Again, going back to those claims, does it plump? Does it color correct? Now, color correct, I didn't really see anything, but as far as the overall finish, you can't deny it is a really beautiful finish. Whether you like it, and it just goes down to preference. So I'm gonna give it a 5 out of 5 because that really is preference, right? Do you like full coverage? Do you like light coverage? Do you like medium coverage? That's really hard. I mean, if it's my choice, I like a little bit more coverage, but I'm giving an overall perspective of the score. So 5 out of 5, I stand by that. As far as ingredients goes, does it have coconut oil? Can I wear this? Can I use it all over my face? Absolutely. I'm gonna give it 5 out of 5 for ingredients. It's so good. Shade range. This is where it's lackluster and really leaves a lot to be desired, as I mentioned earlier in the video, and you guys saw from the swatches. I did find my perfect shade though. I think 1.3N was a perfect shade for my twinsies out there. I wouldn't go any other shade. So I absolutely love it, but I have to judge it overall. So I'm going to give it a 3 out of 5 for shade range. Just because maybe if there was a shade in between, maybe even like a color corrector shade would be really nice if they would have added that in there, because it says its claim is to color correct. I think adding in like a pink, a green, a yellow neutralizer, that would be beautiful. And hopefully maybe they do that because the formulation would be amazing. I think it would be much better than the Huda color corrector that came out because it is lighter weight, which is nice. Now for the last category, would I repurchase this? I'm going to give this a 4 out of 5 because I would reach for this for natural days. I think the Hourglass one I'll save for more glam days, but and you can build this up for a glam. I mean, obviously it looks beautiful even as a glam look. So I would repurchase this, but I don't know if I would repurchase it as often. Let's just put it that way. So I stick by 4 out of 5. So we're looking at a total glam score of 22 out of 25. Not bad. Not #1 concealer, but still in the top 5. And it is, again, such a beautiful finish. I have to stress that. And I think for all of my girls out there that love light to medium coverage, that need hydration, but doesn't look luminous or any of that, has really clean, good, not clean, but good ingredients, I would say clean for me. I would say this is a definite go and I would highly recommend it. Now let's go into the blush. Now for application, it applied gorgeous. 5 out of 5. It is so smooth and buttery. As far as the finish goes, I absolutely love this matte finish. It is a very comfortable matte finish that my dry skin girls, oily skin girls, combo girls could really use and love as a matte formula. 5 out of 5. As far as the ingredients go, I love the ingredients that they're putting into these HD skin powders, and there's no coconut oil, even with the more luminous finishes, which is so incredibly nice. 5 out of 5. As far as shade range goes, now that I know there's 14 shades available and 3 I definitely want to pick up, I am very excited, and that definitely deserved a 5 out of 5. Now for the last category, would I repurchase this? 5 out of 5. We're looking at a total glam score of 25 out of 25. This is an incredible formula and an incredible shade range. I really, really love this blush, and I absolutely 100% recommend it. Now let's quickly jump into the contour powder application. 5 out of 5. They went on so incredibly nice and effortless. Finish, oh my gosh, unbelievably beautiful. I love this matte finish. I really love this formula even more than the previous version of these artist powders as far as the contour goes. Ingredient, 5 out of 5. No coconut oil, absolutely love it. Shade range, 5 out of 5. I think there are really good contour shades in this range, and I'm really, really happy with it. Now for the last category, would I repurchase this? 5 out of 5. I'm gonna give this a total Allure score of 25 out of 25. I think out of all 3 products, this was my favorite. This was the highlight of the 3 products that the gold star one. I just really think it is so, so beautiful. But anyway, let me know your thoughts. Let me know what you guys think of all this. Keep on watching, because at the end, I'm going to attach a 5-day check-in, so outside. So just keep watching for that. If you made it this far, thank you so much for watching, and please remember to hit that subscribe button, click the post notification bell, join us. We're here every week. We'd love for you to join our beautiful Glam Fam. Please give this video a huge thumbs up when you guys hit the like button and comment below. And if you decide to purchase any of these products, as always, you guys, when you utilize my affiliate links, it really helps. I can't stress to you enough. It really helps support a small channel like mine. So I really rely heavily on my affiliate links. So I really appreciate you guys doing that. I thank you for all your love and support. Be sure to check out my merch, glamourouslifecollections.com. The links are all in the description box. I have a lot of cute Glamorous Life stuff in there, so definitely check that out. Thank you again for watching, and now let's roll over into the 5-day check-in. Hey guys, so I wanted to do my 5-day check-in and let you guys know where I'm at with this concealer. I stand by my original glam score, 23 out of 25. I don't even foresee myself really using this that often. I mean, it would be for like a supernatural day. It took a lot to even build up that, and I went for a lighter coverage foundation today. So just wanted to do that final check-in. I want to keep this precise and short and just let you know that if you like full coverage, save your money. We're in hard times right now, and I don't think you need this concealer unless you like a very skin-like natural coverage. So I will see you guys in the next video. Love you guys. Bye.
Never up, never down, never. Like a theme in a song, clever.